The Democratic Party just got hit with a political earthquake, guys. It's April 15th, 2025. Hope you guys are doing well today. Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas, one of their loudest voices, is now officially under federal investigation for what could be one of the biggest campaign donation scandals in modern political history, guys. So the FEC has launched this full-blown probe into what appears to be like this massive Act Blue donation fraud scheme. That's right. And get this, guys. So the money may have actually been taken from innocent people who never even knew that they were donating. Now, what do you think? What do you think about that? So in today's video, we're going to break down exactly how this scandal exploded, also how one lawyer tracked the fraud to actual homes, and why Jasmine Crockett's name is now front and center of this growing federal storm. And that's not all, guys. Wait until you hear about what's happening with an anti-Israel activist from Columbia University whose deportation essentially just triggered this legal war between judges, DHS, and of course the Trump administration. Plus, we got to talk about how ICE just dropped a bombshell arrest of a convicted sex offender that local Democrats tried to, quietly release into the community. Why would Democrats want to do something like that? Y'all let me know. Anyway, guys, if you guys appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you. And let me know real quick, just drop a quick why in the comment if you're able to hear me okay. All right. So, and trust me, guys, you're going to want to stick around for for Bernie Sanders. This guy, he perfectly exposes the fake. This whole system is fake. Anyway, so what you're going to hear today, what we're going to discuss, I promise you, it's going to make your blood boil. And if you're wondering whether or not we're still living in the country with laws, accountability, and leadership, this video will definitely give you an answer. So let's dive into the receipt. So, folks, what we are witnessing right now is a political earthquake that should be on the front page of every single newspaper in America, but instead, silence from the media. Why? It's because the target this time is not Trump, actually. It's Democrat darling Jasmine Crockett. And trust me, guys, this isn't just some headline level scandal here. In fact, the Federal Election Commission has now launched a full-blown investigation into fraud. And also, what they've uncovered so far is already stunning Democrats into silence. So here's the deal. A Louisiana judge delivered this massive legal loss to Democrats, but it wasn't about policy. It was actually about integrity, money, and what could come from one of the biggest campaign finance fraud scandals that we've seen in a generation. Now, Crockett, who's become a rising star on the left, is now under federal scrutiny for accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations. But here is the kicker. The people listed as donating, they're saying they never gave a dime. One of them, by the name of Randy Best, he's listed as donating 595 times, totaling over $16,000 to Jasmine Crockett's campaign through Act Blue. But when an attorney went to his house, knocked on the door, and asked him point blank, and his wife, of course, directly, they were shocked. They said that we don't even remember any of this. The wife said that the couple is retired and they're not even in Crockett's district. They live in Collin County, which is not Dallas. So what's going on here? I mean, either Act Blue's system is being exploited, or maybe the Democrats are operating a coordinated identity theft ring that's disguised as grassroots fundraising. And it gets even worse than that. Get this, guys. Her campaign has over $870,000 in donations following these different campaign fundraising efforts. But get this, guys. Her campaign with over $870,000 in donations are flowing in just from Act Blue. And now we know, I think now we know how many of these donations are getting in there. In fact, the other thing is we don't even know how many of these are real, how many of these are fake. Y'all let me know if you think that these donations are legit. You got people out here getting verified by attorneys by ringing their doorbells, and they're saying, hey, we don't know anything about this. So are innocent Americans getting used as political ATMs without even knowing it? Would Democrats do such a thing? And if this is happening with Jasmine Crockett, who else is doing this? So definitely keep watching, guys, because later in this video, we're going to talk about the exact moment the FEC confirmed this investigation is real, plus the shocking information that we just received regarding ICE arresting this child pred that Democrats released back into the public. But first, of course, we got to dig into another explosive courtroom battle, the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, and also how it's exposing these deep cracks in our immigration system. So let's go ahead and shift gears to another courtroom battle that's rattling the nation right now, and it's about to get even more heated. So meet Mahmoud Khalil. He's a Columbia University graduate, a very vocal anti-Israel activist, and now officially deemed removable by a federal judge in Louisiana. So Khalil came here on a student visa. He got his degree. He obtained a green card, clearly a smart kid. But then everything changed after October 7th when Israel was attacked. Instead of staying quiet or respectful of U.S. law, Khalil became the face of radical campus protests, serving as a spokesman for Colombia's apartheid divest movement. Now, his group wasn't just waving signs and whatnot. They were actually harassing Jewish students, assaulting staff, and even blocking roads and public buildings. Does that sound like a peaceful activism type activity to you guys? Or does it sound more like somebody who's actively trying to destabilize the very country that gave him sanctuary? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, well, the Department of Homeland Security had seen enough. DHS agents, they arrested Khalil and they transferred him to a detention center in Louisiana. Now, his actions ended up getting flagged as a direct threat to U.S. foreign policy interests. But just when you think that the case was closed, enter the left-wing machine, or the left-wing legal machine. There's a new judge that stepped in, and this is in New Jersey. They ended up blocking this particular deportation, claiming that it might violate Khalil's First Amendment rights. Can you believe this? His legal team has now gotten until April the 23rd to file motions, and you got this tug-of-war battle that's going on between national security and the progressive appeasement. This is far from over, guys. Meanwhile, Kristi Noem, she put it perfectly. She said, hey, if you glorify terrorists, if you harass Jews and advocate violence, your green card should be revoked. End of story. Comment Kristi Noem if you agree with Kristi Noem on that one. And a lot of people say that she's right. I think she's right. There's no country in the world that would allow someone to come in, abuse their visa, and then also attack the very values of that country without consequence. But apparently, we're supposed to tolerate this nonsense. Why? Because Democratic leadership refuses to draw a line. But guess who is now drawing that line? In walks President Donald J. Trump. The Alien Registration Act just came back into the national spotlight, and it's not a suggestion anymore. The White House announced that all foreign nationals who've been in the United States longer than 30 days must register immediately. Failure to comply? Well, this is a crime punishable by fines, jail, and deportation. Now, this part is key. President Trump and Secretary Kristi Noem say if you register and self-deport, you may be able to return legally someday. But if you refuse and you end up getting caught, well, you're gone and you're never going to be allowed back into the United States. So it's pretty much a zero tolerance message. And honestly, I think it's about time, because for far too long, our laws have been treated like suggestions. Like, you can or you don't have to. Our laws are not going to be upheld. So whatever, do whatever you want to do, right? Apparently that era is over. Now, coming up, of course, we got to talk about the ICE arrest of a convicted blank offender who basically slipped through Democratic fingers. And of course, the shocking recent clip of Hillary Clinton saying exactly what Trump is saying now. But she was praised back when she did it. and he was labeled as a racist. Very interesting how Trump could say the exact same thing as Hillary Clinton, and he's a racist, or he gets labeled as a racist, and Hillary Clinton is like, they're praising at her feet. Anyway, don't go anywhere, guys, because of course you got to see what happens when law enforcement is ignored, and of course the cost that it has on our communities. If you guys are just now joining the live, do your boy a favor. Hit the like button for the Ron Yates channel and subscribe to the channel. Now, buckle up, guys, because the next part that we're about to talk about, I think is really going to make your blood boil like it did for me. While the media is distracting you with all these fluff stories, here's what they're not showing you. In walks Ander Cortez Menendez, right? This guy is a convicted offender arrested by ICE agents in Virginia on April the 2nd. Now, the man illegally entered the United States back in like 2018 near the Rio Grande Valley, right? He got caught, ordered to appear before a judge. But what did he do? Well, he never showed up for court. Dude didn't even show up for court. He's like, nah, dog, I ain't showing up. Anyway, instead, this guy decided to blend into the shadows. So then last year, according to ICE, he got arrested in Fairfax County, Virginia, for committing the same crime that he was previously accused of against a child. Let that sink in for a minute. So the guy was found guilty, but did Democrat-run Fairfax County turn this guy over to ICE like they were supposed to? No, of course not. They ignored the ICE detainer and they let this guy walk free. This is the exact nightmare scenario Americans are worried about. And Democrats are actively making things worse by choosing ideology over safety. ICE agents had to track this guy down again, risking their lives to arrest someone who should have been gone the first time. Not to mention, while this guy is out on the streets, everyone else's lives are at risk and their kids' lives are at risk because we've already seen the pattern that this guy has continued to do. And somehow Democrats still decide to defend this insanity. And their argument is, oh, we're just compassionate people. Wow, really? That's your argument? But when an illegal immigrant sexually assaults a child and your response is don't cooperate with ICE, that's not compassion. That's criminal negligence. And it's putting the entire community at risk. So here's the part that really exposes everything. But to do that, we got to go back a few years. We got to go back to 2008. So you know who said immigrants who commit crimes should be deported immediately? It was actually Hillary Clinton. Back in 2008, her exact words, and I quote, if they committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. End quote. So what's funny here, in a very sarcastic way of saying that this is funny because it's not funny, if Trump says the exact same thing today, what do you think they're going to call Trump for saying the exact same thing that Hillary Clinton said? Well, he gets called a racist. That's basically the game that they play. One set of rules for Democrats and a completely different set of rules for everybody else. And guess what, guys? The American people are finally waking up to this. And if you think that this was outrageous, wait till you hear what the Supreme Court just ruled about a deported gang member that a left-wing judge once flown back into America. Can't make this stuff up, guys. They want to fly this guy back into America. It's courtroom chaos, and it's happening right now. So you got to stick around. So let's talk about this, right? I know this story sounds a little insane. You might think that this is satire, but it's not. A migrant deported by the Trump administration, a man named Kilar Argo Garcia, was legally removed from the country, and now this federal judge is demanding that he be brought back into the United States. Let me repeat that. He got deported already. The case was closed. But this radical leftist judge in Maryland has decided that not only was this wrong, but that the Biden DOJ must give daily updates to the court on how they're working to bring this man back into our country. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't, guys. So the Trump administration, they're pushing back pretty hard. They're refusing to play along with this madness. The DOJ, they're basically telling the court, look, hey, We don't know how to do that. Is anybody mad about this? Is anybody like scratching their head like, what the entire F is going on out here? And the judge's response? It's pure outrage. She's now forcing them to give daily status reports on their efforts to retrieve this man from a Salvadorian jail. he's in a jail in another country. They're trying to get him out of this jail to bring him back into the country that he got deported from originally, which is the United States, for coming in illegally. Somebody's going to say I'm lying. Look in the comments right now. Somebody's going to say, oh, Ron, you got to be lying. Okay, here's a kicker. One of the migrants' lawyers even said, hey, they got Kristi Noem out of a Salvadorian jail. They can get Garcia out too. You gonna compare Kristi Noem to this illegal immigrant who got deported to Kristi Noem? Like, what is this world coming to? By the way, guys, if you guys haven't checked out Chapter, you got to check out Chapter. I'll leave a link in the description down below. If you have any questions about Medicare, there's so many people who are not getting the proper advisement with regard to Medicare. They're missing out on all sorts of benefits, and most people are overpaying statistically for their Medicare. So I will leave a link to Chapter in the description down below this video. On average, ladies and gentlemen, they're saving seniors like $1,100 a month. Can anybody benefit from an extra $100 a month? Like that's close to what $1,100 per year breaks down to. It's around $100 a month. So if you feel like you would be, if you feel like you would find an extra $100 a month beneficial, and you're over the age of 65, or maybe you know someone who is, give my friends over at Chapter a call. Link in the description down below. And even if you don't want to deal with the internet, you don't want to click the link, I'll leave the phone number for Chapter down below. And when you call them, or if you message them on the internet or whatever, just tell them Ron sent you. Tell them Ron says hi. Anyway, and on top of that, the service is totally free. So you could literally just call them on the phone, say, hey, Ron told me to call you guys, right? And be like, hey, I'm like 65 or however old you are. I just want to know if I can get cheaper Medicare benefits so I can save money. Or I want to see if I can get more benefits for the same amount of money. Just call them up. Anyway, I'll leave a link down below for you guys. I'm getting so many people thanking me for this. And I'm like, no problem. It's free. They don't even care if you do business with them necessarily, right? So I'm a big fan of free. Anyway, free and saving money. So you can do both at the same time. But anyway, you can't make this stuff up, guys. This is the new Democratic vision. Deport a criminal, bad. Bring him back, justice. Like what? And yet they're calling Trump's immigration stance extreme. That brings us to the icing on this hypocrisy cake. There's this viral clip that's floating around that absolutely destroys any illusion of consistency in the Democratic Party. So there's this guy, this user on X, for all I know with the Democratic Party, it could be a he, a she, or they, or a we, an it, a them. There's a user on X going by the name Maze. Put together a supercut of Bernie Sanders. And folks, it is comedy. It's gold. Every clip is the same phrase. We're moving toward oligarchy. The country is hurtling toward oligarchy. Oligarchy, oligarchy, oligarchy. I mean, you would think he was a broken record. But here's the twist, guys. The people Bernie Sanders is railing against, the elite ruling class, the ones supposedly creating this oligarchy that he's talking about, they're the same people who are bankrolling his own party. I don't know if it's just me, but I didn't realize how much the Democrats who point the finger at everyone else who's not a Democrat as being the bad guy doing these alleged bad things, and the Democratic Party is the same party doing the same thing that they're blaming everyone else for doing. It's so silly. And the thing is if you don't know any better and you just listen to mainstream media, then you would believe them because they're very convincing until you start like putting your thinking cap on and paying attention. And you're like, wait, you're a liar. You're saying everybody else is doing the thing that you're doing. What are you talking about? Anyway, Jasmine Crockett, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, they all cash in from the same donors They run the same freaking games, and they operate with the same immunity. It's crazy. So while your boy Bernie Sanders is screaming oligarchy on stage, he's sharing that stage with the very same people who are the oligarchs. This is all theater. It's all a game. It's all a show. And it's just it's not even a very good show. Imagine going to like Radio City Music Hall and like paying for this really crappy show. That's what the Democratic Party is doing right now, because we're all really paying for it. We are paying for it. We're not going to like Ticketmaster and buying tickets per se, but we're paying for it in the form of higher taxes. We're paying for it in the form of like just getting scammed by these politicians by sending our money to causes that we don't even support. How much of our money has been going overseas when it should be going to Social Security and shoring up, securing our borders, and like things we care about, taking care of veterans here in America, right? We have our own problems. Why is all this money going overseas? Paying for all this transgender diversity, equity, and inclusion over in like Uganda. Like, what the freak? And anyway, so here's where we tie it all together, because Jasmine Crockett's fake probe, Mahmoud Khalil's pending deportation, the ICE scandal, the Scottish drama, the fake oligarchy's cries, they all point to one brutal truth, guys. The left has completely lost the working class. It is what it is. And CNN's own poll just proved it. So let's go ahead and pull all of this, bring it all in. Let's go ahead and bring it all in here. All right, so let's bring it all together here. So we started with Jasmine Crockett, this rising Democrat under federal investigation for potentially stealing the identities of innocent Americans and funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars into her campaign through fraudulent Act Blue donations. Now, of course, all these are alleged. You know, these are all allegations, right? But that's where we started. Then we exposed how one of these alleged donors, Randy Best, had no idea that his name was even used. His wife didn't know nothing about it. Not once, but 595 times, totaling $16,000 that he never approved. Now, I'm pretty sure if comment down below, yes or no. If you were missing $16,000, would you notice that? I think I would notice that immediately. I'm just saying, right? And then, like, we turn to Mahmoud Khalil, this anti-Israel activist at Columbia University who used his U.S. visa not to study, but to act, to basically attack Jewish students, disrupt public institutions, and push radical ideologies on people. DHS arrested his butt. A federal judge ruled him deportable. But now progressive legal activists are tying the system in knots to keep the guy here, citing First Amendment rights despite his violent foreign policy compromising activism. And then from there, we talked about a convicted child predator, Ander Cortez Menendez, being released back into the public by Democratic officials who refused to cooperate with ICE. Then came the Supreme Court drama, a federal judge ordering the Trump administration to basically bring a deported gang member back to the United States. And finally, we put the spotlight on Bernie Sanders chanting oligarchy while standing shoulder to shoulder with the very elites that he claims to oppose. But here's the cherry on top, guys. And this one really stings for the Democrats. Even CNN cannot spin it anymore. If you guys are just now joining the live, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Your love is really appreciated. So CNN, they can't spin this. This new poll that CNN just released, it shows that working class Americans are abandoning the Democratic Party in droves. Can you blame them? When the party defends criminals, they release predators, lies about donations, and attacks the very same people who ask questions. They're not the party of the people anymore. They become what they claim to fight against, which is a political machine that's fueled by corruption, censorship, and double standards. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to look through these comments and see what you guys are saying. Do you believe Jasmine Crockett knew exactly what was happening with those donations? Seriously, guys, let me know. Do you agree with deporting people who use their time in this country to spread hate and violence? And Are you, like so many Americans, just done with this hypocrisy nonsense crap? Let me know in the comments, guys. And if you want to go even deeper into the poll numbers, the court docs, and the secret memos that are coming out of the DOJ, make sure you guys check out my previous videos. It is all there. You're not going to believe who else got caught up in this mess. Anyway, guys, I mentioned it earlier. If you're 65 years old or older, or you know someone who is 65 or older, or maybe you're going to be 65 yourself, check out my friends over at Chapter. See if they can save you, I don't know, maybe $1,100 a year, which is the average amount of money that people are saving working with Chapter. And guess what? Chapter is totally free. So if you just need someone to talk to about Medicare, these guys are experts, totally free. Link in the description down below. And you can also call them on the phone. I left my phone number down there for you too. So anyway, hit the like button on the video. Thank you so much for sharing and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.